بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. خب, alhamdulillah, we have tawfiq to continue our study of training and education in Islam by the late Ayatollah Mutahhari. Our discussion still is about factors that contribute to tarbiyah, but today we mention one of those factors. Previously we talked about thinking. Before that we talked about ibadah, etc. So now the next one is about love for awliyaullah, for pious, virtuous, and perhaps even holy people. So Ayatollah Mutahhari says one of the factors that help in proper tarbiyah and upbringing is to have contacts and relation with righteous people. He says in our scriptures we have many hadith, many teachings about mujalasa. Mujalasa means sitting together, but normally it means not just sitting together for 5 minutes or 30 minutes. It means being friend with each other, being companion for each other, having more enduring relation with each other. This is called mujalasa. And mujalasa with good people has very deep and at the same time easy and a smooth impact. Sometimes you can make lots of progress just because you are sitting, talking, traveling with good people. Inshallah, I will mention the beautiful example that Ayatollah Mutahhari mentions about the difference between this and the method of self-building based on picking up different characteristics and working on each of them separately. We'll talk about it inshallah later. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Al-mar'u ala din khalileh." This is in Al-Kafi. This shows the power and the effect of friendship. Al-mar'u ala din khalil. Khalil, means friend. وَاتَّخَذَ اللَّهُ إِبْرَاهِيمَ خَلِيلًا. Allah adopted Ibrahim alayhi salam as his friend. Rasulullah says every person is following the religion of his friend. What does it mean? It means that you so much take from your friend and so much maybe even unknowingly are influenced by your friend as if you follow his religion. If, for example, your friend is Muslim and you are not, but to have a Muslim friend is like you are Muslim. Or if your friend is not a Muslim and you have a good friend, it's like you have no Islam. It's not said as a decisive decision, so that whenever we want to judge about the religion of people, say, okay, look at their friends. No, because people may have the same religion as friends, or people may have different religion as friends, or people may have different friends with different religions. What Rasulullah wants to tell us is the power and the influence of friendship. Like, for example, we have الناس على دين ملوكهم. This is also very important, that people are on the path and they follow the religion of their kings. Again, this is not said in a decisive way that, okay, if a king has certain religion, all people of that country have the same religion. No, it means that people, whether they know or not, are very much influenced by religion of those who have power or influence. Therefore, they are impressed by them, they are influenced by them, they are shaped and formed by them. With respect to the king, if there's a good king, it has positive impact. If there is bad king, it has negative impact. But you don't have that much role in choosing who would be your king, or your, for example, president, or prime minister. You are one person or minority. Maybe you don't have that much role. Of course, if you can play a role, you play to bring good people to power. But with respect to your friend, you have role. You are not forced to have this friend or that friend. Choose people that are ahead of you, they are better than you, so that you can learn from them automatically, naturally. In Nahj al-Balagha, Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam says, مجالسة أهل الهوى منساة للإيمان. Friendship with people who follow their lower desires and appetites and hawa, dreams. Friendship with them makes you forget your iman. Mansat, from nisyan, means leads to forgetfulness of iman. People who are not mu'min, and they keep talking about dunya and attractions of dunya, we may also be influenced by them, and we forget iman. Even if we have iman, we may forget. It doesn't say you will totally stop believing. Maybe you can keep your iman still. It depends on the power of this relation. But when you are talking with people of dunya, your iman becomes marginalized, at least becomes something that you are heedless about. In the Quran, there is an ayah that is in Surah Taha, verse 16. Surah Taha, chapter 20, verse 16. Ayatollah Mutahari says, it seems that this is an address to Prophet Musa, ala nabiyyina wa alihi wa alayhi salam. Allah says to him, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم فلا يصدنك عنها من لا يؤمن بها واتبع هواه فتردى. Allah says to Musa, don't let people who have no iman in our signs and communications to stop you, to block you, those who follow their whims, because if you let them influence you, fatarda, then you will fall, you will be destroyed. So if they don't have iman, if they follow their whims, you should be independent. You should not let them influence you. Otherwise, you will be also suffering. So he says, from this ayah, we realize that Allah even is warning Musa alayhi salam. And of course, it's an instruction for his people and for all of us that we should not befriend bad people. There is a beautiful hadith, which is very well known, about Isa ala nabiyyina wa alayhi salam. His apostles, maybe, or some people, but maybe it was his apostles, that asked him, O Prophet of God, whom should we choose as our friends and companions? Man nujalis, with whom we should have mujalasa. Ya Ruh Allah, man nujalis. Isa alayhi salam was Ruhullah, was a spirit from God, because Quran says وَرُوحًا مِنْهُ, رُوحًا مِنْهُ. So Isa alayhi salam gave very beautiful answer. He said, choose as your friends and companions, spend time with people that have these characteristics. 1. Man yudhakkirukumullah ru'yatuh. Those that when you look at them, they remind you of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Choose a friend that when you see them, when you meet them, or even sometimes when you think about them, you are reminded of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They have, such a positive impact on you that being with them or even thinking about them make you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَيَزِيدُ فِي عِلْمِكُمْ مَنْطِقُهُ. And when they speak, they increase your knowledge. You always learn something from them. Or at least they remind you of something important. It's not that your time is wasted when they speak. Or, na'udhu billah, you are harmed. Because sometimes someone speaks and it's useless, it's waste of time. And sometimes it's not just waste of time, is also harmful. No, these are people that speaking with them is beneficial. Neither it is waste nor it's harmful. وَيُرَقِّبُكُمْ فِي الْآخِرَةِ عَمَلُهُ. When you look at their actions, they will make you more eager to work for your akhirah. If I am, with people who are day and night working for dunya and, thinking about dunya, etc., I will also think about the same. But if I am with people who are conscious of Allah, mindful of the Day of Judgment, they are doing, good things for the hereafter, they are gaining, provision for their journey, it will also encourage me to do the same. So, 3 things. يُذَكِّرُكُمُ اللَّهَ رُؤْيَتُهُ وَيَزِيدُ فِي عِلْمِكُمْ مَنْطِقُهُ وَيُرَقِّبُكُمْ فِي الْآخِرَةِ أَعْمَالُهُ. Choose people that looking at them reminds you of Allah. When they speak, they increase your knowledge, and their actions make you encouraged to work for your akhirah. Then he says, also you should realize that mu'ashara has different levels and different types, interactions and meeting with people has different levels, different, intensity and degrees. Sometimes people are very formally engaged in such relations, and basically they are putting their guards on and they are very careful. This type of relation is not that much impactful. The great impact is when 2 people become friends to the extent that they become very much trusting each other and very much open to each other, and there is no guard. Even sometimes there is no attention. Unconsciously they pick up good or bad habits of each other. Unconsciously they are influenced by sayings of each other. This is very much important. Friend is someone that you trust, and you are not always alert about what they do. With a stranger or a person that you have very formal relation, you are always conscious what that person said, did, what you should do. You are conscious. But when you reach the level of friendship, then you trust and you open up. Or there is a level which is even more influential, and that is when you become disciple of someone, you become follower of someone, you become a lover of someone, a fan of someone, or what we say murid. When you really love someone, then that person has big impact on you. Unfortunately, some people, choose as their role model people who are just famous or celebrities, for example, in art or, cinema or, sports, without checking whether that person in their ethics, in their humanity, are role models or not. But if we manage to find out role models who are either contemporary to us or in the history we know about them, that can resemble Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Imams and reflect their light to us, they can have some fragrance of them. That is different. That is one of the very easy and very influential factors of tarbiyah. So friends are very important. They have great influence, but when it reaches the level of someone being your role model or your murad, your spiritual mentor or teacher or master or sheikh or peer or murad or qutb, as some Sufis call, then they have big impact. Ayatollah Mutahari says, in Islam we have great focus on the love for Prophet, for Amirul Mu'minin alayhi salam, for Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. One reason is because this love is changing us, is transforming us. As example, he refers to Ziyarat Aminullah. You are all familiar with Ziyarat Aminullah. I had some reflections on Ziyarat Aminullah before. They should be available on YouTube. Ziyarat Aminullah, many ulama said, Ayatollah Mutahari also here says, he says, maybe this is one of the most authentic ziyarat that we have when it comes to sanad, to chain of narration. He said it's one of the best, and he says shayad ali tarin ziyarat bashad. Maybe it's the best ziyarah when it comes to the content, when it comes to sanad. Although we have other ziyarat which are very important, but having content and sanad so great, maybe this is first for Ziyarat Aminullah, or at least it's one of the few ones that are at the top. And it is mutlaqa for Amirul Mu'minin. You can recite any time of the year this ziyarah for Amirul Mu'minin. Also, you can recite it for other Imams. You can recite it for other Imams. It's not just for Amirul Mu'minin alayhi salam. You can recite it for other Imams. So, this ziyarah at the beginning start with sending some salam. Assalamu alayka ya min Allah fi ardi wa hujjatuhu ala khalqih, etc. Then we reach a passage which is a combination of some du'as, very beautiful. فَجْعَلْ نَفْسِي مُطْمَئِنَّةً بِقَدَرِكَ رَاضِيَةً بِقَضَائِكَ. Oh Allah, please make my nafs tranquil with your qada, your qadar. Qadar means decreed. Qada and qadar, you know that. Be pleased with your qada, mutma'in with your qadar. مولعة بذكرك ودعائك, very eager for remembering you and praying to you. Then we reach this part. محبة لصفة أوليائك محبوبة في أرضك وسمائك. Ayatollah Mutahari focuses on this two requests. Please make my nafs a lover, your chosen awliya, your chosen friends. محبة لصفوة أوليائك. And make my nafs محبوبة, loved, في سمائك, في أرضك وسمائك, in your earth, on your earth and in the sky. If you want to judge someone, you can judge based on whom he loves and who love him. If you know those that are dear to him and those that he is dear to them, you understand what type of person is this person. We request Allah to be someone that loves awliyaullah, especially safwat awliyak, those who are very special, chosen. Because if we love them, we gradually but rapidly and swiftly become like them. And mahbubatan fi ardika wa samai. Human beings need to be known that they are appreciated, they are loved, especially if you're loved by good people. It gives you lots of courage, lots of hope. In the book Jazibe wa Dafi'e Ali alayhi salam, he has a book about polarization around the character of Amir al-Mu'minin, how some people are very attracted to him and some people were against him. He says, I mentioned this point over there, the power of love, and he mentions one example, which I said before, we will mention this beautiful example. Imagine you have some sands or soil mixed with some small dusts of metal like powder. If they are mixed and you want to separate them, it's very difficult. You have to pick up, for example, the sands one by one, leave them another side, and then pieces of metal, another part. Very difficult, one by one. But if you bring a magnet close to that combination, then it would attract pieces of metal, and then automatically they will be separated from sands or dusts or soil. This is the power of love. If you want to work on your virtues and habits and characteristics one by one, it's very difficult, takes time, although it's important, but a shortcut, something easier, is to have this power of love. Love for righteous people, love for awliyaullah, makes this separation from bad habits and vices much easier. Very quickly and easily you will be separated from those bad things. Then he refers to what we had it also in some other books, a group of Sufis who were called Malamatiyye. They were people who were interested in sincerity so much that they used to do things that people would develop bad ideas about them, bad opinion about them, deliberately, because they didn't want to show off to people. They wanted to be very sincere, so they went to the other extreme of doing things that people would develop bad opinion about them. People misjudge about them. For example, if they lived in Najaf or Mashhad, if they were Shia, they used to hide going to Haram from people. Then maybe some people then made rumors that these people never go to the shrine. These people don't love Ahlul Bayt. Ayatollah Mutahari says there was a great teacher of Arabic literature, Adib, in Mashhad. He and his teacher, they used to hide going to the shrine, to the extent that people thought they never go to shrine. But someone who was very close to him and was, helping him in his personal life. He was like a student, but at the same time like a assistant, preparing for him, things that he needed. He said, he saw him in around maybe Fajr, that hiding himself with his cloak so that no one can, see his face. But he was able to recognize through his walking and his, body gesture. And he realized that he went to sajda in the shrine and cried. So he had love. He had, great, passion for ziyarah, but was hiding to the extent that people think he doesn't go. You remember we talked some stories about Ibrahim and Adham in another book, in Sana Kamil, that they were deliberately behaving in the way that people misjudge about them. Ayatollah Mutahari says, of course, we don't want to judge about these people. Maybe they wanted to react to a culture which they didn't like it. For example, they thought, there are some people who show off. They wanted to, set up another example. So we don't want to judge about people. But generally speaking, this is not the way that Islam asks us to act. Islam says you should be careful about your reputation. And also in the society, we should make people encouraged to do good things. So people should know that others also do salat, others do go for ziyarah, do charity work, do saliyah rahim, help their, family, help, whoever is in need. They should know this, because this would encourage people, especially those that have influence. If people know that they do these good things, they will be encouraged. There is a power in what well-known people or influential people do. So balance is again very important here. You have to preserve your reputation. You have to act in the way that people of this earth and people of heaven, like angels and the spirits of awliyaullah and mu'mineen, they all love you, respect you. Don't say, I don't want to be loved, I don't want to be respected in dunya. No. Then after this, there is another discussion which is about the role of marriage in tarbiyah. How marriage also can help. Inshallah, we will discuss it bi'iznillah in the next session. For today, I think this is enough, because I have to do something here. Maybe we can take 1-2 questions and inshallah finish. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.
Yes, anyone with questions can raise their hands, and please mention the city from where you are speaking. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Speaking from Folkestone.
Yes.
I came across a short hadith of Imam Rida alayhi salam, which says, there will come a day for the people when prosperity has 10 parts, 9 parts of which are in seclusion from people and 1 is in silence. Could you discuss a little bit on when this might be applicable, please?
I have to see the text of hadith, but the idea is very reasonable if it is understood in this way, that we have to be very careful about our contacts and our relations, and sometimes either for all people of that era or for you particularly in your context, you are not able to have good people around. You are not able to relate to good people. That is where you have to be very much reducing your contacts to the necessary, to the minimum. Because when there are not good people around, if you expose yourself to other people and spend time with them, means like exposing yourself to the ill people. Okay, their illness can come to you. So we have to be careful not to isolate yourself from good people, not from community of the faithful. But when you are surrounded by bad people, or it's a time that people lose their akhlaq, God forbids, we don't know what is going to happen in future. If we generally are going to experience that, or we are personally experiencing something like that, that is when we need to be very cautious about our relations and try to be very mindful of our conversation, our visitation of other people. But you cannot generalize this to all times and all circumstances.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
My question is regarding said today about having awliya Allah as your mentors, say, or your friends, or people who remind you of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yes.
So I don't have a question regarding this, rather it's more of a request that for us and people all around the world, you are one such person who inspires and reminds us of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if you have time and you feel ready for it, could you share with us who are the people from whom you drew inspiration?
Thanks for your kind opinion. I am just a student, a talabah, and people that have inspired me in my life, of course, I mean people that I had lived with them, or were contemporary to us, not our imams or their companions or greatest scholars of the past, but people who were living in our time. So I have been very much trying to find good teachers who not only knew the subject, but also I could be benefiting from their akhlaq. And I try to benefit from every person in their strengths. So I tried not to just limit myself to one teacher, one, for example, sheikh or master. I try to benefit from every person who has something positive that I can learn or I can benefit from. And alhamdulillah, I have great love for them, for my teachers, for our scholars. And I think our love for our scholars, for our ulama, from the time of imams up to today, is very important because it helps us to be part of the team. I always think that there is one team, one camp, and this camp at some point was headed by the prophets, then by imams, then in the time of ghaiba it's headed by our scholars, by our maraja, by our leaders. But it is one camp, one team. And one important condition for being part of the team is our love for previous players and previous coaches of this camp. If we love them, if we appreciate what they did, if we are proud of them, then one condition is met to be part of the team, inshallah. And when it comes to aqaid and akhlaq, when it comes to more a scholarly part of it, I very much benefited from Ayatollah Mutahari, and Ayatollah Misbah. I benefited from, of course, Allama Tabatabai, from Imam Khomeini and others. But when I was very young, even before going to Hose, and then in the early years of my Hose, many of my thinking was informed by works of Ayatollah Mutahari and later Ayatollah Misbah Yazdi. Later I was introduced to Allama Tabatabai, Imam Khomeini's books. We were listening to Imam Khomeini when he was giving lectures, but to know his books was for later stage of my young age. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless all our ulama, all our teachers, and in particular we remember Imam Khomeini because this is his demise anniversary actually, and we ask Allah to bless his soul and to make his dreams for having an Islamic society and also the whole world under the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, reality. I hope his dreams inshallah become reality, inshallah. Thank you very much for your question. I take your, may Allah bless you. I take your leave and have to go. So inshallah remember me your du'as. I am going also tomorrow to travel. My family travel today, tomorrow to Kenya. And I need your du'as inshallah for successful trip inshallah.
Sheikh, could you please recite the dua?
Inshallah, yes. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا وامن علينا برضاه وهب لنا رأفته ورحمته ودعاءه وخيره اللهم اشف مرضانا اللهم ارحم موتانا اللهم اقض حوائجنا اللهم يسر أمورنا اللهم اجعل عواقب أمورنا خيرا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم صل على محمد. التماس دعاء.
Thank you, Sheikh.
Thank you very much. أحسنتم. في أمان الله.